Every time I hear about a writing or have heard a speech of Martin Luther King, it is kind of bathed in the notion of character. And I think that politicians today would be well served to sit back and read or listen to the speeches that he gave. He talked often about the content of one's character, understanding, of course, from a biblical perspective, how important character was in the life of a person, how important character is in the decisions that people make. Our character has been washed away with a ever-present political correctness that far outweighs the character or the content of our character as a person. See, we are living in a time where political correctness has almost tried to take the place of how we think from our values, morals, and character standpoint. So I think politicians would be well served today, as they have the day off today, would be well served to be reflecting on what made Martin Luther King great. And what made him great, first and foremost, was the foundation of his faith. That was first. That he stood firmly on the very same thing that our founders stood firmly on. He stood firmly upon the notion of a God-inspired constitution. He believed that. He knew that to be true. And he understood that there were evil men and women in our society, and there were good and great men and women of our society. And it never had anything to do with the color of one's skin. It had everything to do with the content of that person's character. Whether it was content full of wickedness and no values, no moralities, no ethics, or whether it was content that was based upon a solid foundation. Martin Luther King was so much more than a man that brought into play the civil rights movement as we knew it then and as we know it today. It was far, far more than that. Look at the men that have tried over the years to bring that about, and look at the way that Martin Luther King Jr. brought it about. It is very, very different because of the foundation of this man, because of the underlying fundamental principles of values, a biblical worldview as he looked at the world before us.